Welcome back, students. Hello everyone. Uh, Today I welcome you all in the second lecture on the topic gait. In the earlier lecture we discussed about the gait cycle and the phases of gait. Today we will be discussing about the variables of gait. What are the different variables of gait? Today we will be discussing about that. So when we talk about the variables, basically we have two variables, time variables and the distance. These are the two of the basic parameters of motion, and the measurement of these two are provide a basic description about the gait. So in the last class we discussed about the cycle, gait cycle. As we all know, gait begins with one foot, for example this foot. It comes in contact with the ground, and when this foot again comes in contact with the ground, that makes one gait cycle. It is the single sequence and the function of one limb. In this diagram you could say when we say that this foot goes for heel strike, and when this ipsilateral foot again comes to heel strike, this makes one stride. This phase is one stride. But the heel strike of ipsilateral extremity and the heel strike of the contralateral extremity makes one step. So we could say right step and left step combinedly makes one stride. So now when we talk about the gait, when we talk about the variables, we have two basic variables. Temporal variables, which include the stance time, single limb support time and double support time. And the distance variables, which cover step length and stride length. These variables provide essential quantitative information about a person's gait and should be included in any gait description and assessment. So here you could say, when we say stance, that means the movement till the foot is in contact with the ground. Single limb support is basically your mid stance. When the patient or the subject is in mid stance position, that means he is in single limb support. And then the double limb support are the other phases, the initial contact, the loading response, heel off and the toe off. All the swing extremity comes in single limb support. Now these all are divided into the variables. So first we will see what is the stance time. Stance time is the amount of time that elapses during the stance phase of one extremity in a gait cycle. Single support time is the amount of time that elapses during the period when only one extremity is on the supporting surface in a gait cycle. The double support time is the amount of time that a person spends with both the feet on the ground during one gait cycle. The percentage of time spent in double support may be increased in elderlies as they have balance disorders, you all know that, and it will be decreased in those who walk at very high speeds. Then we also have stride length. Here you could see stride length. It is the linear distance. You could see the linear distance between heel strike, first heel strike of the ipsilateral extremity to the successive heel strike of the same lower extremity. Okay. Generally, stride length is determined by measuring the linear distance between the point of heel strikes. Okay. You can take one big paper and then tell the patient to walk on it and measure the distance between the first heel strike of the same extremity to second heel strike of the same extremity. When we want to measure the step length is the linear distance between two successive points of contact of opposite extremities. It is usually measured from heel strike of one extremity to the heel strike of the opposite extremity. So this is the step length. You will have a right step length and a left step length. Both the right step length and left step length when added will make a stride length. Then we have one more thing, that is stride duration. Stride duration refers to the amount of time taken to accomplish one stride. Stride duration and gait cycle durations are same, because we say that gait cycle will, like how much gait cycle means, stride duration is heel strike to heel strike, that is one gait cycle. So now we all know what is step length. It is the distance between the one heel strike to the other heel strike. The average measurement of a heel strike is 15 inches. Stride length is the distance between heel strike of one lower extremity to next heel strike. It is the double of the step length. So we all know it is double, that means it becomes 27 to 32 inches. Now next is the walking base. Walking base is the distance between the two foots. This is the one foot and this is the another foot. And the distance between them two, that is this distance, is the walking base. It is also called as stride width. Stride width, it is normally not more than 2 to 4 inches. Okay? Or we also call it as the width of base of support. It is the linear distance between the midpoint of the heel of one foot and the another foot. The width of walking or the base of walking, what we see is is increased in people who are either elderly or small children, toddlers, or who have some balance issues. Next is cadence. Now cadence is basically the number of steps per minute. So it is the number of steps taken by a person per unit of time. Cadence may be measured as the number of steps per second also or per minute also. A shorter step length will result in an increased cadence at a given velocity, okay, that we will see in later slides also. Normally we should have 90 to 115 steps per minute, but cadence can change. There are several factors which would influence cadence of a person. One could be the step length, the speed at which the patient is walking, that will hinder the number of steps. Gender, males and females have different type of cadences. Body builds, like small stature and larger stature will have different cadences. Obesity and the walking surface. If it is uneven, patient will take more time to walk. So the cadence will increase. There is one more thing, step duration. Step duration refers to the amount of time spent during a single step. Okay. Now measurement usually is taken in seconds per step. When there is a weakness of extremity or pain, step duration may be decreased or affected. Next thing is the walking velocity. This is a very important parameter. It is the rate of linear forward motion of the body, which can be measured in centimeters per second, meters per minute, or in miles per hour. Walking velocity is counted as distance walked upon the time. Women tend to walk with shorter and faster steps than men at the same velocity. So women, you can see, have a lower walking velocity as compared to men. But an average walking velocity could be 262 foot per minute, or we say it increases in velocity, it increases with velocity as well. So next, after walking velocity, the next thing what we will be dealing is the angle of toe out. Can you see here? While we step forward, our foot makes an angle with the linear line at which we are walking. It is the angle formed by the line of progression and the longitude, this is the line of progression, see, and this is the longitudinal axis of the foot. This is called as angle of toe out or degree of toe out. It represents the angle of foot placement and may be found by measuring these two lines formed by each foot line of progression and the line intersecting the center of the heel to the second toe. How can we find out the longitudinal axis of foot? It is a line extending from the center of the heel to the second toe. The angle of men normally is about 7 degrees from the line of progression of each foot at free speed walking. The degree of toe out decreases as the speed of walking increases in normal men. There are certain things which will have effect on the normal values of the distance and time variables. But here we have some mean values. For example, the speed of walking in meters per second for men or male is 1.32 and for females is 1.23. The length of one stride in meters for men is 1.48 for men and 1.27 for females. Step cadence in steps per minute is 110 for men and 116 for females. So these could be variations we can see in variables of the gait. This is for today's lecture. If anyone has any doubt in variables of gait, you can call me, WhatsApp me, or email me. You will be answered. Thank you so much. Next lecture will be about the determinants of gait.